Alright, this is video number 2 on how to triple boot your Mac computer. In my case, I'm using a MacBook. In the previous video, in the first video, you saw me partition my hard drive, each partition for each operating system I'm going to be using, and also install Refit. Since the last video, what I did is I restarted my computer so that the changes that we made with Refit will take effect. And I also put in my Windows 7 disk. I recommend that everybody purchase a real copy of any software that you buy because you want to support the people who make the software that you enjoy. So I have a legit copy of Windows 7 Professional. I inserted it into the machine already because Refit will automatically boot into OS 10 within, I think, 10 seconds or something like that, and it didn't give me enough time to actually put the disk in for it to read it. So I have it in there already. The machine is off. I'm going to turn it on, and we should get the Refit splash screen coming up here, and it'll give me two options. One is the Apple option, and then the other is a disk for Windows 7. And here we go. As you can see here, we're going to choose the Windows 7, so we're going to boot Windows from the CD. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to install Windows. Hopefully everything goes well. Alright, Windows is loading files. Now this is Windows 7. I have never used Windows 7. I have a couple of machines that run Windows Vista, and of course XP before that, and a lot of the other ones before that, but I have not used Windows 7 as of yet. So I'm kind of anxious to try that out. I'm actually going to try some new video editing software on it, Sony Vegas, and to edit these videos with. Normally what I do is I use iMovie, and I also am looking forward to trying Linux out, Ubuntu. I know Linux is the basis for the Android operating system for my Nexus 1 phone, and I'm anxious to try out an actual desktop Linux. So, as you know, Windows can take a while, so I will be editing this video. Alright, now you have your language options, so I'm English and I'm in the US. So we're going to go click from there. Now we're going to go to install now. So I'm doing this as you see it for the first time, so I hope everything goes right and I don't mess up my computer here. Setup is starting, and hopefully it gives me the option to install it on the partition I made. Okay, I accept terms. Okay, now we're not going to do upgrade, we're going to do custom installation here. So we're going to click on that. Alright, there we go. It should be pretty easy here. I have several partitions here. I'm going to use partition number 4. Remember I named all these, so I know exactly that this one, the Windows 7 partition, has 74.6 gigabytes here. We are going to give this the installation here. Let's see. It says Windows cannot be installed on disk partition 4. Show details. Okay, so I'm going to have to reformat that partition. So click on partition 4 and go to Drive Options and Format. So let's just make sure we got this. The partition might contain recovery files, blah blah blah. I'm going to reformat that. I think that did it. Now we're going to hit Next. Alright, and we're going into the installation process of Windows, which I don't know how long it's going to take, but I will either edit this or speed it up. One of the two. Alright, now through this process, it's going to restart the computer a couple times. and as I understand it, you have to kind of babysit it through that to make sure that it keeps going into Windows, otherwise it's going to go into OS X, which I hear is not an issue, you just have to reboot it if that happens. Alright, here comes the reboot, so let's see how this is going to work out here. Alright, let's just change it over to the Windows with the hard drive under it, not the Windows with the CD under it, and then hit enter. So just click over to the right and return. Alright, there we go. Now we got the sign-in screen, or the startup for Windows, and I'm just going to fill in some information here, and then we're going to actually fire up the machine and see how the dual boot goes. Alright, well, I just entered in all my information to sign up and get the screen name and everything up and running. And now it's prepping my desktop for the first time. Wow, look at that, Windows 7. Okay, Windows 7 had a couple updates. It restarted, and there's a couple things that do not work right now. It's probably the camera doesn't work, but the eject button doesn't work, so I can't actually get the disk out of the drive. So what I'm going to have to do is use my copy of Snow Leopard and install the drivers for this MacBook through Boot Camp for Windows 7. So what I'm actually going to have to do is just shut this down, bring it back up through OS X so I can get this disk out, and then we're going to pick up from when I'm back into Windows. Alright, we're back again. I got the Windows 7 disk out, and we're going to put Snow Leopard in here. And if everything I've heard is going to work properly, I should right away get something should pop up for me to install drivers for Boot Camp. Alright, there we go. We're going to start the Windows support. And follow the instructions here. Alright, there we go. What had happened, it took about a little over 5 minutes to install a bunch of drivers on here. It does say down here device driver software was not successfully installed. I don't know what that was for. Let's click on that real quick. Alright, I really don't know what that was for, but we'll see if that was a problem. But it went through a list of a bunch of different drivers. I don't know, maybe 10 to 20 of them, and it installed them. So the camera should work now, the eject button should work, and it's going to ask me to restart. I'm going to do that, and hopefully everything is working correctly. If there's not, I'll give you an update on it. Update. I did have an issue with one of the drivers. So what I did is I went to the start menu here. There was an Apple updater down here. It doesn't exist here anymore because nothing needs to be updated. And I clicked on it. It updated Boot Camp. I installed it, restarted the computer, and restarted the Boot Camp installer for the drivers. It fixed the broken driver that I had. I restarted the computer again, and what you have here is a full functioning Windows 7 on my MacBook. Even the eject button works now.